Hello, everyone. This is AARP Maryland. We are bringing you Chef Christine, who is going to demonstrate something awesome for us that will keep us healthy and happy, even while the wildfires in Canada are raging. And I am Karen Morgan from AARP Maryland. And Chef Christine, what do we have today as we approach Protect Week 2023?
All right, so I know Protect Week is next week, and I know this is a big deal for us. So I was trying to figure out how to tie it all in, and we are protecting our hearts with heart-healthy olive oil today, and lots of good fresh veggies, because it is the summertime. It is time for good fresh veggies. We want things easy, we want things healthy, and we don't want them to feel healthy all the time.
Yes.
So that's where we're going to go today. We're making something called Fattoush.
Nice.
Have you ever had this? I can tell the look on Karen's face.
I've had it once. I believe I've had it once, and I'm quite sure I liked it.
Oh my gosh, because it's so good. All right.
It's so good.
Fattoush is a Middle Eastern dish, and it is made basically all sorts of good chopped fresh veggies. And we're going to make a really simple dressing for it out of lemons. Okay.
Right. So, because when fraud has you lemons, you got to make lemonade. And while you're doing that, Chef Chris, I'm just going to mention that for those of people in our audience who don't know, Protect Week is our campaign to help people prevent elder financial abuse. And that's something that we're all subject to. We're subject to frauds and scams. It can happen to anyone. So we have a number of resources. Go to AARP.org/Maryland/MD to find out more information. We're going to have shred events at Teletown Hall. We're going to have social media interviews. And because we believe in having fun while we learn about how to prevent those evil scammers from disrupting our lives, we are hooking up with Chef Christine.
Bring it around, Karen. Bring it around. I love
Bring
it
it
so
around.
much. I love it so much. Well, listen, and I know that Protect Week is a really big deal, and fraud affects us all. I don't know if I told you this. I felt like such a dope. My mom passed away back in the fall, and I'm handling all of her estate. And one of the things you do is you get an EIN number. It's an employer identification number. You get it for the estate. And I have done this before in my professional life. I went online and I Googled EIN, and it popped up, and I popped in all my information. And I popped in my mom's social security number and my social security number and our maiden names of mothers and grandmothers and orangutans and chinchillas and everybody it needed. And I got to the bottom and it said $250 charge. And I went, I don't think you paid for that. Well, I had gone to a .com instead of a .gov.
Yes.
Well, I like to think I'm smarter than your average bear. Apparently not.
No, you are smart. You are smart, because guess what? Fraud has nothing to do with how smart you are. And AARP's commissioned a national study which demonstrated this. And to me, this is something we need to shout from the rooftops. We are subject to fraud because of an emotional connection, or because we are otherwise distracted or emotionally sort of tied up with other things. And so it's easy to miss those details. And the bad guys are thinking about how to emotionally manipulate us 24/7. They use emotional manipulation as a weapon. So that's why Nobel Prize winners have been subjected to fraud, and high school graduates, and everybody in between.
Your favorite
no, it's
chef.
not you. Yes, your favorite chef, but it wasn't you. You were thinking about your mom. Yes, it was emotional. So yes,
and I was thinking about my mom and loving my mom and wanting to do right, and just I want to be the executrix to be all other executrixes, and it just I was distracted, and it got me. Just like I'm distracted chopping my garlic. So here's what I'm doing. I put in a couple of cloves of garlic, and they have the recipe. AARP Maryland has this recipe. It's fantastic. You guys will
Okay.
love it. I did about a quarter cup of lemon juice, and then I'm going to do about a third of cup of olive oil. Now, this is pretty easy stuff. There's no big emulsifier in here, nothing to hold it all together because we just don't care enough about it. But I'm going to say you're going to whisk it as you pour it in because we love that part. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And I only use kosher salt because that's who I am and it tastes better. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. You know
Me
how
too,
simple
Chef
this
Chris.
is.
I use kosher salt because it's kosher.
All right, now here is our fancy ingredient. Have you ever used sumac?
No, because it's wheat-based and I don't eat wheat.
Sumac is?
Yep.
Oh. All right, so sumac is a spice that we get, and it tastes ever so slightly lemony. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you can't find it, don't worry about it. Who cares? Leave it out. If you want, you could put a little lemon zest in instead of the sumac. And I like it because it just gives a little fun flavor to the whole thing. All right, so let's check out the recipe. Boy, oh boy, I've got everything in there. We are cooking with gas today, and we're not even cooking at all. Look at that.
And I need to walk back my statement. I was thinking seitan, not sumac. Sumac is not wheat-based. Yes. So sumac, yes. I will definitely give that a try.
You can find sumac in, this is the greatest thing, because when we were growing up, the international section of the grocery store had what? Ramen noodles, and that was it. Right. I remember my mom going somewhere fancy to get my dad ramen noodles. Now, the international sections of your grocery stores, and they don't have to be fancy grocery stores, are so good. They're so good. Look for it in the Middle Eastern section. And some people go, isn't that poison? No, not poison. No. I promise it's okay.
It's a plant from the cashew family.
Yeah. Oh, look at you.
Well, I did Google that while we were talking.
It makes us look so smart, Karen. All right, so I'm doing my old cut your tomatoes trick because this calls for 2 tomatoes. And I'll tell you what, we just got ours in the ground here in Maryland. So I won't have them for a few months yet. But I love to do that little zip, 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 zip. It makes me feel so happy. So I've got some tomatoes, and I'm going to do some scallions because I just love scallions. And scallions are so great because you're not using like a big hard onion, so you don't get that super pungent flavor. And some people are like, oh, how much should I use? Use the whole dang thing. It's good. Use it.
Green and the white. Use it all.
Green and the white, baby. Use it. We're just going to pop that in there. All right. Now, because I've got it, I do grow mint. Do you grow any herbs, Karen?
I grow basil mostly on my windowsill.
Nice.
And once in a while, cilantro.
Okay. I'm going all in this year, and I have to tell you, we planted mint. You have to be careful with mint because mint is bossy. It is a bossy babe, and it wants to grow everywhere, every place that it'll touch. So you always want to do mint in a container if you can, because that'll control its spread. So I've got a little bit of mint, and I have to tell you, I'm dog sitting. And there is the cutest 3-legged German short hair pointer sitting right here up looking pretty for some of my goodies.
They look so cute like that. So we have a comment in the chat room. One of our listeners said that I made the mistake of planting mint in the ground and it took over our lives.
It'll take over everything. It really does. So I had read that somewhere and I was smart enough to go, okay, its own container, and it comes back every year. I'm probably gonna have to replant soon because now it's a little tough, but it still muddles in the drink beautifully. and it
And
works for
someone
this.
else said, "Oh, we need mint for mojitos too." So we need a
Yes,
lot of mint. It just needs to be
that's
contained
somebody. Yeah, that's somebody I need to be hanging out with. I love a mojito.
before it
Oh,
becomes the mint monster that took
yeah.
over planet Earth.
All right, so we're gonna throw a big heap, and you can tell how carefully I'm measuring everything, right? Not,
Yes.
who cares? Who cares? All right, so I just threw in a big heap of fresh parsley. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they said, I don't know, parsley can really get to me when it's the curly. I'm like, don't use curly parsley. Just don't use it. We don't need the curly parsley. If you can, get flat leaf. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
so much tastier. It's a much tastier situation for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, green bell pepper. Sometimes it can be a lot for me, right? Green bell pepper is, I don't know, I used to have a client that I cooked for who just detested peppers in every form. So I think about it, and I like raw peppers. I like them, but they can be a lot. So I kind of make sure that I cut these a little smaller. I mean, typically you're going to dice your tomatoes instead of cutting them in half. But
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, someday I'll have a show called The Very Lazy Chef. And
Can I
I'm,
be the host on the show?
yeah.
Oh, pretty please.
Because I'm all about like, how can we make our lives easier, right? So I'm just going to cut these nice and little because we're going to do a little modification here too that I think is delicious. And here's the great news with this. I guess it's kind of a salad. This will hold in your fridge for several days. There's nothing in here that's delicate. Now, I'm not
Nope.
a fan of chilling tomatoes typically, but in this, I wouldn't ever store a tomato in the fridge. Please, please, please keep your maters on the counter, okay? Because they get mealy and they're just not good. It's just not good
I always
stuff,
keep my tomatoes on the counter.
okay?
Absolutely.
My mom
Oh,
used to keep them all on the windowsill.
and that's a nice place for them. They
I
just don't belong in the
suppose.
fridge.
No, they sure as heck do not.
And we have a question in the chat, because somebody's going yuck on the peppers. So what's an
Okay, so
alternative to peppers?
leave them out.
Or leave them out?
Nobody's going to
Oh,
make you eat a pepper. You don't like a pepper, don't eat a pepper. Just leave it out. And you could make this kind of a cucumber tomato thing. I think that'd be delicious. Think about a vegetable you like. Will it be a traditional fattoush? No. Who cares? Who
right.
cares? You should make what you like. And I like these, so I'm totally good with this. Have you, I don't know if you were with me when we made cowboy caviar. I might have to make that again for you guys
Yes, I
because
was.
oh
Yes, I was.
gosh, I love that. And that's another, what do you like? Just think about the base of what it is and what works for you.
Yep.
All right. Now, I've been
Now I have a
having,
quick question for you, Chef,
yeah,
while you're doing this. What about different types of tomatoes? Will there be a different taste in the fattoush if you use Roma versus beefsteak versus cherry or grape tomatoes?
yeah. So, have you ever had those super sweets? I planted
No.
some this year. Oh my gosh. They're so good. I'm not usually a raw tomato girl. I can actually just pop those in my mouth. I don't know if you saw what I did. I took the edge off the cucumber so it would rest flat.
I
So
sure
I'm not
did.
dealing with roly poly. And then I can go
Very
ahead and dice
deft.
all of this. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Karen.
And
Thanks
you're
for
getting some love on
noticing.
the cowboy caviar too, since you brought that up. We have a comment
That
in the
stuff
chat
is
saying,
so
"Love that
good.
cowboy caviar."
That is like you can't, unfortunately, you can't make a little. You have to make a
No.
ton of it, right? You make a lot of it, but it is so darn good. And look at that. See
What's
how we
wrong with a
get,
ton of cowboy caviar? The
yeah.
more cowboys, the better.
That-
Round them up.
that's
Round them up,
another
little
one.
doggies.
That's another one that keeps really well. All right. So you're so funny, Karen. You've got going on. Hey, listen, I'm curious because I do know Protect Week is a big deal thing.
Yes.
Are there any special demos or talks that you guys have going on next week?
Yes, we will be doing social media interviews on a number of different topics like door-to-door scams, investment scams, peer-to-peer payment scams, benefit payment scams, like Cash App and Zelle payment type scams. We're going to be doing a kickoff press conference on Monday where we have experts talk about what to look forward to. And then during the week, we're going to be doing a teletown hall, and people can call in and ask questions of 3 guests who are experts in the area of fraud. They can ask their questions about fraud prevention. So we're happy about that.
I
And we'll
love
have
the
shred
work.
events all over the state too.
That's the greatest thing. Seriously, I might see if I can take advantage of that. I have so much stuff. My mom was meticulous about her shredding. Holy heck. Everything got shredded. Any label that came in with their name on it, any mailing label, I'm like, Mom, they have you. They're like, you're online. But then I'm like, we don't need to discuss it. So, but I love it. And I'll tell you what, you made me feel so much better because I felt so silly knowing that I'm vigilant with all of this stuff and that I got myself right. And I didn't really.
You didn't
I was
get
thinking
yourself.
about my mom.
Right.
I had all that stuff going on. It's emotional. It's an emotional time. But you made me feel so much better because I know it happens all the time.
Right.
And I know that folks are very clever.
Well,
so I just
and also sociopathic. Let's not forget that part. They're sociopathic. I mean, seriously, that's what they
bad
are.
guys.
Yeah, well, they're horrible. They're cretins.
Yeah,
so,
they really
and they
are.
don't have a conscience. So,
Well,
that's what we're dealing with.
My biggest fear with my mom was that someone would take advantage of her. And then for me to get that close, because I did not pay them the money, thank you very much, but for me to get that close to it, handling her stuff, I was just really torn up about it. So, all right.
And we're getting some more comments here. And just a general reminder, all of the events are posted at aarp.org/MD. So go there and one of the first things you'll see is Protect Week, because we're trying to protect everybody. And somebody said, it's shocking how many scam calls and texts that her parents receive. And I understand, and I've been where you've been, Chef Chris, because I was the executor for my mom's estate when she passed away. And it was like trying to manage that and family issues and all of that. And, I was worried about being victimized by fraud as well. And it still haunts me.
I know. It's a thing. It is a thing. All right, you ready? Check this gorgeousness out.
Sure.
I'm coming to you. Look how beautiful. Oh.
Where is taste? Where's Vision when you need it?
I know. I'm never doing it for you. Now, traditionally, and this is a big deal, traditionally, when you order Fattoush, it comes with pita chips crushed into it. Not into dust. Nice big pieces. And they soften in the dressing and the juices from the veggies, because the salt that we put in there is going to pull out the juices from the cucumber and the tomato. They're super juicy, guys. So it's going to help make it a little saucier. But I don't put the pita chips in because I want to save it. And I can tell you, I'm hungry for lunch, but I'm not going to eat this entire thing. I typically serve it kind of as a dip with the chip instead. And then if I decide to go with the chips, I'll do it on the individual servings so that they don't get soggy after a couple of days of sitting in the fridge. Important stuff.
That totally makes sense.
It totally makes sense. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm going to do a shameless promotion because we are doing a cooking class on Saturday, a free cooking class, and it is going to be delicious because it always is. This month's class, we're doing like a lemon chicken with tomato, like very summery, easy to do. And it sounds funny, but we're going to make French potato salad, because as soon as the weather gets warm, it is the first thing my adult children are screaming for, asking me to make. And it's so different from what you think. It will become, I'm telling you, it's going to become a staple in everybody's kitchen. It's going to be so good. No mayonnaise. And that means if you're going to a potluck or something, you don't have to worry about it because it's a vinaigrette base. We might use a little wine. We'll see what happens, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So there's still time to register for that.
Yes. And the information's in the chat for how to register. And we're getting comments that fattoush looks amazing. Like, you need to be told that because it looks amazing.
And trying to find, listen, I know I try not to ask you guys to get weird things or get strange ingredients or anything like that, but I love sumac. It's a regular. I mean, you can see I buy a lot of it. I love it. I really use it more in the summer, but it's good stuff. So thank you so much, Karen.
It looks awesome. Looks awesome. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, joining Chef Christine, making awesome food as usual. When we're healthy, we can keep better guard against those cretin criminal scammer people out there that are crawling around trying to steal things from us. Please look into our events for Protect Week at aarp.org/MD. They're all free. You do not have to be a member of AARP to participate. You may have to register for some events like our shred events, but come to the Town Hall, listen to the press conference, listen to our social media interviews, and join us on Saturday when we cook up a storm with people all over the country, when Chef Christine beguiles us with yet another amazing dish. I love it.
Thank you so much, Karen. I'll see everyone on Saturday.
See